Good morning, everybody. Particularly for Emily Matesic's benefit, in the link below is in the description below is the link to Stacey Seabrook's, another one of his songs called It Really Matters. And of course, for truthers, it really does matter. As our title suggests, we are truthers. We want justice for Teresa Halbach, Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey. And we want truth for the Avery family, Dassey family, the Halbachs, of course, and the general public in northeastern Wisconsin in particular. Now, believe it or not, I was not originally aware of the Facebook support groups in support of Stephen Brendan and Justice for Teresa Stephen Brendan until I'd actually spoken to Sheriff Herman. It was him, Robert Herman, bless him, the good guy that he is, that actually alerted me to the fact that there were all these Facebook support groups. I think he must have assumed that I was already a member of them. I was not, but thanks to his gesture of mentioning them, I was able to join, and I've been ever since. What's always struck me is the diversity of the people in the support groups, from an incredibly varied backgrounds. Obviously, throughout the world, as I say, one of the Mamathon videos that Eric Ose did, you got viewers in 50 different countries, in every single continent, although I don't know if there's any figures for Antarctica, as I said. Now, much to the disappointment, I would say, of particularly Eric Ose and the Hod, Mark Hodinet, affectionately known as Sharkbait, I was unable to attend the rally that was held in Manitowoc in 2018. I had a prior arrangement to play at a good friend's wedding, so I was unable to substitute. So I had to go and do the wedding, which was very pleasant on a nice summer's day here in the Scottish borders. But as I say, they told me all about how good it was, the rally in Manitowoc itself. So I definitely went, obviously, in 2019, where I managed to meet up with so many of the supporters of Justice for Teresa and Stephen and Brendan. Supporters that included, of course, many from the Avery and Dassey families. As I say, we had a great time. It was in Two Rivers that I got my Green Bay Packers tie. I must admit, we did visit Coupletree bars in Manitowoc, including managed to go to the Wiggly Piggly on more than one occasion. I've proudly got my receipt just there for stuff purchased at the Wiggly Piggly that sits in the shadows of the iconic water tower on the north side of Manitowoc. And I managed to get myself a brief look at an address that I was particularly interested in Chicago Street, around about the 800 number. And of course, what struck me was that it was such a beautiful place, really nice people, very friendly. Had a great time. Stayed on the shore of Lake Michigan and managed to stay up till 4:30 one morning specifically to watch the sun rising over Lake Michigan. And it was funny because when I got back, I told quite a lot of people where I'd been. I said, well, Well, actually said, I've been to America. And I said, you'll never guess where I've been. And they go, well, New York? Nope. So I was there for 5 days. New York? No. Chicago? Well, yes, I did go through Chicago, but that's not where I stayed. So then Florida, Disney World, Grand Canyon, Yellowstone Park, California, Crunch Island. Nope, didn't go to any of those. I went to Wisconsin, northeast Wisconsin, and met up with a load of friends at a scrapyard just outside of Michigan, which was obviously one or two people were a bit puzzled at first. But then, of course, it gives me the opportunity to say to them, haha, you're probably wondering why I would go to a scrapyard in Wisconsin. Have you watched Netflix's Making a Murderer? And every week I get people come to me and say, wow. As you can see, I'd had my hair cut. This was done last week. My wife's a trained hairdresser, and at the salon that she works, her, in effect, boss that owns the place, he said that he had watched all 20 episodes and couldn't stop watching. I think that's true of a lot of people. He could not stop watching. He could not believe the corruption that he was seeing. And we both agreed, isn't it funny, this is one of the things that always comes across, is the dichotomy between, on the one hand, Kenneth Rapist Kratz and Kathleen Zellner. On the one hand, one of the most vile, unethical creatures ever to roam the earth, and on the other hand, this woman, Zellner, who is hailed almost as a queen. She is held in the highest regard possible. Why? Because of her ethics. But of course, truth be told, to quite a lot of people in Wisconsin, Making a Murderer maybe doesn't really matter that much. It was just a documentary. Of course, to us, it really does matter, as Stacey Seabrook pointed out. To us, it really does matter. When you have a couple of problems in a case, obviously that can cause doubt, that can cause suspicion. But when there are dozens and dozens, 80 more things and more wrong with the case, you realise that it wasn't just mistakes, it was deliberate. As one of my friends often says, when do coincidences become a pattern? Now, of course, the state are basically holding on to an ever-rising balloon. Is it already too late to let go of that balloon? Kathleen Zellner, of course, is getting closer, ever closer, to discovering why Teresa Halbach disappeared. I suspect she already knows why Teresa Halbach needed to disappear. But how will northeast Wisconsin handle the truth? The truth that not just Steve and Brendan were framed, but that an innocent 25-year-old was sacrificed to put a stop to Stephen Avery's civil suit. Thanks to Making a Murderer, northeast Wisconsin has already been put on the map. 4 years ago, I had never heard of Manitowoc. We await Lisa Comfort's response. So far, the state, it's like they've put a sticking plaster over multiple broken limbs. I think, Emily, you're entitled to ask the question of us. Why? Why have we built this community of support? Well, it's simply that it affects us so much. Because for us, it really matters. Bye for now.